But how did you actually meet Robert Kiyosaki?
Well, I had already built the talking children's book industry, books that had the sound streams down the side, and that was back in the late 80s. And Robert actually went to see my husband. Mike is an intellectual property attorney, well known in licensing. And Robert went with his idea for a board game on a piece of butcher block paper. So I actually met him at the first beta test on that. And it was exactly what I was teaching, trying to get curriculum into the school systems related to the importance of taking control of your financial life, the importance of buying, building, creating, income producing assets. And so I loved the game, and I just volunteered as a friend to help him commercialize it because of my background and the connections that I had. And during that process, he told me that's the game that later became Cash Flow. And during the process, he told me he was going to charge $200 for it. And I said, that's kind of pricey. We're talking 1996.
Yeah.
And I said, you might want to write a brochure that explains your philosophy so it'll encourage people to invest in the game. And that's when he asked me to become his partner. And we formed the company together in 1997 and released Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And that was actually written as a brochure. We never expected to take on a life of its own like it did. And we never thought we'd write more than one book, but the one turned into 3, which turned into 15 books that we wrote together during the 10 years that I ran the company. So we were equal partners, and I was the CEO helping grow it around the world.
So whatever happened to the board game? How successful was it?
The board game is very successful. It's still available. I think they sell it online now, but the game is very successful. But the book itself was standalone and kind of took the world by storm. So collectively, we had many games, we had many books, and we ended up in the 10 years becoming the largest personal finance brand in the world. So it was very, over 100 countries, over 50 languages.
Okay, wow, definitely have to check that out. How was your relationship with Robert? The reason I ask is because I don't know if you've been keeping up with him lately, but he seems to be really stressed out now. So I'm just wondering, like, how was the relationship with you guys? Like, how was it working with him and building this Rich Dad Poor Dad brand?
Well, we were partners for 10 years, and I chose to leave because he wanted to go in a direction that I didn't believe in. And it was a great direction for us. He wanted to go into franchising. So it was very profitable for us, not very profitable for the franchisees. So I could not in good stead stay there. But it had become a very difficult couple of years because money just brings out more of who you really are.
Okay.
And it was just not a good environment. And I wanted to stay true to who I was and what my personal mission was. And so I made the decision at the height of our success. We were making millions of dollars every month, but I said I just couldn't stay there. So we have not really been in communication other than it took a few months for us to get the valuation of the company. And then our amicable split turned not so amicable. So we were in litigation for a year and settled. So, in essence, I was able to walk away the way I wanted to. And then 11 years later, he sent me a letter of apology. But other than that, we haven't really been in communication. He became, he can tend to be a bit volatile. So.
Okay. All right. So I guess with the image that I'm seeing on the internet is kind of accurate of like his personality, I would say.